If the allegations that Keion Henderson scammed Shaunie out of her money and blindsided her are true, that would be a devastating betrayal, especially after what appeared to be a strong and loving relationship. Shaunie has long been in the spotlight, from her time with Shaquille O'Neal to her successful ventures like Basketball Wives, and her reported hefty settlement from her divorce with Shaq made headlines. If Keon indeed had ulterior motives regarding her finances, it would certainly be heartbreaking for Shaunie, who trusted him enough to marry him after their publicized relationship. Money is often a source of tension in relationships, and if this story about Keon manipulating her for financial gain is accurate, it paints a picture of betrayal that could be hard for Shaunie to recover from emotionally. However, it's important to note that these are rumors, and as we've seen in the past, both Shaunie and Keon have been public about how they deal with misleading headlines. The sparks between Shaunie and Keon were hot from the jump, but their road to saying "I do" wasn't all smooth sailing. Keon has been real about his struggles. He was hesitant to move past just being friends, and it all stems from the scars left behind from his last marriage. He spilled the tea during the Lighthouse Church's annual Cry Out conference in Houston this past June.
And this is the problem with the church, but I am going to use my life to break this curse and cancel this fake culture. I want somebody in the room today, if you believe that you ought to be canceling curses instead of people, make some noise.
And honey, he didn't stop there. He got even more real on the Dear Future Wifey podcast, chopping it up with Laris R. Whitefield. Keon got real deep, y'all, sharing how both he and Shaunie were still licking their wounds from past divorces when they first crossed paths. So they weren't exactly rushing into anything serious. Keion's 9-year marriage to Felicia Henderson had officially hit the brakes in 2019, but the emotional baggage from that breakup, yeah, it was still weighing heavy on him as he started fresh with Shaunie. And let's not forget, his first marriage wasn't a walk in the park either, trying to juggle family life, and his booming ministry was no joke. He and Felicia had a daughter, Caitlin, and Keon also stepped up as a father figure to her 2 older kids from a past relationship. Even though Keon was all about family and faith, that marriage with Felicia couldn't survive. Those unresolved feelings made it hard for him to fully open his heart to something new. Now, while Keon and Shaunie's love story was blooming, don't think it came without its bumps in the road. Both of them were trying to build a new life together while still dealing with the messy aftermath of their divorces. But guess what? That struggle actually brought them closer, bonding over their shared pain and working through their emotional scars together. Keon's transparency about his wounds shows that even when a relationship looks picture perfect, there can still be some deep-seated issues making you pause and second guess. Keon's willingness to face these challenges head-on has been a game changer in their relationship. Both he and Shaunie have put in the work to build a marriage grounded in understanding and lifting each other up. But let's be real, their marriage comes with its own twist, honey. Keon isn't just Shaunie's man, he's a spiritual leader and a public figure too. Leading a congregation while dealing with the highs and lows of a relationship that's always under the spotlight, that's no easy feat. But Keon's openness about his struggles shows just how serious he is about healing, not just for himself, but for the strength of his marriage with Shaunie. As they continue building their life together, the tough experiences they've shared, like going through divorce and growing from it, have only made them stronger and more unbreakable. Their journey serves as a reminder that even when the love is real, it still comes with obstacles that both partners have to face head on. Keion Henderson, formerly Shaunie O'Neal, knows this all too well. She was once married to one of the biggest sports stars on the planet, Shaquille O'Neal, for 7 years before they called it quits in 2009. By the time their divorce was finalized the next year, Shaunie walked away with a sizable settlement, including primary custody of their 5 kids. Now, while her marriage to Shaq seemed like the picture-perfect life of fame, fortune, and a big family, the reality was much different. Life in the spotlight wasn't enough to keep their relationship together, and things were far from perfect behind the scenes. Honey, let's spill the tea. Infidelity and a whole lot of drama brought Shaunie's marriage to Shaquille crumbling down, and she ain't shy about sharing that struggle. After the split, not only did she have to step up as a single mother, but she also carried those emotional wounds that shifted her whole view on love. But don't count her out. Shaunie turned that pain into power. building her own empire from the ground up. She became the mastermind behind Basketball Wives, the reality show that gave us an inside look at the lives of women tangled up with professional basketball stars. Thanks to the show, Shaunie stepped into the spotlight and solidified her status as a heavyweight in the entertainment game. Y'all, let's talk about resilience. Shaunie is out here showing us how to bounce back like a pro after her divorce. And then there's Keion Henderson, who's also holding it down in Houston with a love story that's not too different from hers. His first marriage to Felicia Henderson was a long ride that ended in a split in 2019. And let me tell you, it hit him hard. That breakup didn't just sting, it shook his whole outlook on love and relationships. Now, this man is a faith leader who's helped countless couples keep their love lives on track. But when his own marriage fell apart, it made him rethink everything about finding love again. He's been real about how that experience twisted his view on getting a second shot at romance, leaving him feeling all kinds of hesitant to let those walls down. But when Shaunie and Keon came together, they found something special, a bond built on their shared journeys of healing and personal growth, proving that sometimes love can bloom from the ashes of the past. Both Shaunie and Keon stepped into their marriage carrying the heavy baggage from their past divorces, and honey, it wasn't easy. Keon has been real about the scars his split left on him, sharing how it made him super cautious about jumping into something new. He had to face those fears head on and figure out how to trust again. But luckily, he found that understanding with Shaunie, who knows all about heartache herself. Even with the hurdles in their way, Shaunie and Keon felt that undeniable pull towards each other, fueled by their shared faith and a deep appreciation for the messy, complicated world of love after divorce. With Shaunie's experiences with Shaquille and Keon's struggles with Felicia, they discovered a special connection, bonding over the challenges they both had to conquer. Honey, let me tell you. While this couple has a history worth spilling, it ain't all sunshine and rainbows. Keon opened up about how the scars from his first marriage hung over him like a dark cloud, throwing a serious wrench in his ability to dive into something real with Shaunie. They had that undeniable chemistry right off the bat, but boy was he skittish. He was tiptoeing around the idea of love because the last thing he wanted was to be left picking up the pieces of his heart again, so they played it safe, taking their sweet time to figure out the whole emotional landscape. But let's be real, Keon's honesty about his past and Shaunie's own baggage from her divorce created a vibe of realness and trust that's hard to find these days. These two are not playing when it comes to their love game. Both Keon and Shaunie are all about turning those past heartbreaks into lessons learned, stepping into their new marriage with intention and a whole lot of growth. For Keon, it's about shaking off that fear of falling into the same traps that doomed his first marriage. He ain't trying to repeat history, baby. And for Shaunie, it's a whole journey of healing, learning to trust again after the messy betrayal from her marriage to Shaquille. Plus, with Keon stepping up as a pastor and spiritual leader, it adds this whole other layer to their bond talk about divine intervention. Their relationship is all about navigating the ups and downs with a renewed sense of purpose and understanding. Keon is all about preaching the good word on faith, love, and bouncing back. But he had to face the music. He's not above the struggles that come with marriage. His first marriage dropped some serious knowledge on him about communication, trust, and forgiveness. And those lessons are now the backbone of his relationship with Shaunie. But let's keep it real. Being a pastor adds a whole lot of eyes on their love story. With the congregation and the world watching, they're under the microscope, and everyone's curious to see how they ride the roller coaster of marriage. Now, for Shaunie, stepping into the pastor's wife role is a whole new ball game. After years in the entertainment world where the drama was off the charts, she's now navigating a life centered around faith and building community. Talk about a transformation. Shaunie's lifestyle glow-up has opened up all kinds of new doors for her, but it ain't been a walk in the park, honey. Juggling the spotlight of being a public figure with the duties of a pastor's wife, that's a whole juggling act. But Shaunie is slaying this new chapter like a pro, leaning hard on her faith and the love of her family. Now, let's talk about Shaunie and Keon. This couple is living proof that second chances really do exist. Both have been through the ringer with their past divorces and all that emotional baggage. But instead of letting that weigh them down, they're rising up with hope and good vibes. Their love story is a beautiful reminder that after the storm, sunshine and love can still shine through. And let's not forget that love can come back even stronger the second time around. Dot Henderson's journey to tying the knot with Shaunie O'Neal, the ex-wife of NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal, has been a wild ride of personal growth, emotional healing, and yes, love. For Keon, walking down the aisle again felt like a mountain to climb, especially after dealing with a messy breakup that left him shaken. He kept it real, admitting that his fear of failing at love made him want to self-sabotage any shot at happiness. "I didn't want to get married just to end up divorced again," Keon confessed, and you can feel that struggle. That self-doubt had him missing out on some golden moments with Shaunie while he wrestled with his own issues. Keon's openness about his fears adds a whole new layer to their relationship, making it even more relatable and real. Despite keeping the sparks flying with FaceTime and nonstop chats, they played it smart, steering clear of in-person meetings while Keon's messy divorce was still dragging on. That drawn-out battle with his ex, Felicia, had Keon feeling like he was stuck in a never-ending waiting game. But he finally made the bold move to not let those slow legal shenanigans hold him back from kicking off a fresh start with Shaunie. Their love story hit the public scene in 2019, but honey, it was far from drama-free. As soon as the news dropped, gossip started buzzing about Shaunie getting cozy with a married man, stirring up all kinds of speculation. Keon spilled the tea on his love life, revealing that even though he was still tied down on paper, he and Felicia had been donezo for a minute. He had already emotionally bounced back and moved on. It was during this rough patch that Keon had a light bulb moment, realizing Shaunie was the one he wanted to spend forever with. He confessed that once he sorted through his own drama, he could finally see Shaunie for who she really was without letting his past heartaches cloud his vision. This breakthrough helped him recognize Shaunie as the strong, reliable queen she had always been, sticking by him through all the ups and downs of their early days. Their love story hit a high note with a stunning tropical wedding at the Aurora Angela Resort and Golf Club in March 2022, and honey, it was as beautiful as their journey together. Surrounded by their nearest and dearest, this couple was all about love as they swapped vows in a heartwarming ceremony, kicking off their journey as husband and wife. Keon can't help but share how his faith has been the compass guiding him through the ups and downs of love post-divorce. Both he and Shaunie have opened up about how vital their faith is to their relationship, with Keon making it clear that their shared beliefs lay the foundation for their love. They've created a marriage that's all about faith, love, and resilience. A true testament to how they've risen from the ashes of heartbreak to find happiness again. And let's not forget about Shaquille O'Neal. He's had his own love story, only tying the knot once, but that ride ended after 7 years. After years together, Shaq couldn't shake the feeling that he was the one to blame for the breakup, thanks to his wild ways. Shaquille and Shaunie O'Neal's romance kicked off long before they said, "I do." They crossed paths shortly after the NBA legend made his big move to California in 1996 when he signed with the Los Angeles Lakers. Shaq definitely set a new standard for Shaunie's love life, marking her first serious fling with an athlete. "I grew up in LA and I dated her there," he shared with Houston's Magic 100. 2.1 back in 2010. They tied the knot in December 2002, and by then, this power couple was already parents to 2 adorable kids, Sharif, who came into the world in January 2000, and Adema, who followed in November 2001. Oh, honey, let me tell you, Shaunie was glowing with that pregnancy for baby Shakir when she and Shaq tied the knot, and just 4 months later, they were blessed with their little prince, Dan. In May 2006, baby Miara came along, rounding out their family to a whopping 6 kids. Now, let's not forget that Shaq already had his darling daughter, Tahira, from his previous relationship with Arnetta Yardberg. And Shaunie? She had her son Miles, whom Shaq loved and raised like his own. But the drama started creeping in before the youngest even learned to crawl. By September 2007, Shaq was filing for divorce. But wait, he hit the brakes and pulled back that petition the next year. The tea is hot and it's just getting started. Oh, honey, it's a whole mess when it comes to Shaq and Shaunie. Back in November 2009, the couple hit a wall they just couldn't break through. This time, it was Shaunie who pulled the trigger on the divorce paperwork, and baby, it finally stuck. They settled in 2010 and went their separate ways, leaving Shaq with some serious regrets. He wishes he could hit rewind and change the game. Taking full blame for the marriage's downfall, he confessed on the Pivot podcast in April 2022, "I was bad. She was awesome. She really was." Shaq has opened up about his past infidelities, hunting they played a major role in their split. In his 2011 memoir, Shaq Uncut My Story, released right after the divorce, he kept it real, admitting, "I admit it, I was a guy with too many options." He tried to downplay his cheating by saying, "In my mind, I never did it disrespectfully, but obviously I shouldn't have done it at all." Oh, Shaq, the way he glosses over it like it's no big deal. The 4-time NBA champ has flipped the script, honey. "I take full responsibility for all the hurt I caused with my actions," Shaq spilled on the Pivot podcast. Shaunie hasn't been shy either, revealing just how much Shaq's cheating messed with her. Back in a 2017 episode of Basketball Wives, she opened up about how she discovered Shaq's infidelities, though she kept his name under wraps. "Our Blackberries got switched and I was at my baby's school play when I noticed my phone blowing up, just girl after girl after girl," she dished. Now Shaq realizes that his reckless behavior was the last straw. "When you keep making those kinds of mistakes, it's hard to bounce back," he admitted. Still, Shaunie and Shaquille O'Neal have managed to put their differences aside to keep things cool for their kids. Honey, let me spill the tea. They've got this amazing co-parenting vibe going on. For real, she spilled the details during her chat on the Tamron Hall show back in 2021. Shaq is counting his blessings because Shaunie really let go of all that hurt he put her through. He was all smiles on Motalk Radio with Monica in June, saying, "The beautiful thing about us is she forgave me, and now we're good." But let's keep it real, it wasn't a walk in the park getting to this point. Nah, it took some serious effort to make it work. It was a long road to happiness for sure. Don't get it twisted, the journey had its struggles. Shay spilled the tea to Hall about how she and Shaq found their groove in communication, turning into solid support systems for each other. She playfully shared how she dreams of the day Shaq finally gets serious with someone. "I used to mess with him, saying, 'Can you please hurry up and find a wife? Then maybe you can stop hitting me up randomly on FaceTime just to chat about your day.'" Shay laughed, recalling the moment she even playfully threw an invite his way to her wedding with Pastor Keion Henderson back in 2022. Well, sort of. At the mayor's 16th birthday bash, Shaq straight up asked if he was on the guest list. "Of course you are." I rolled my eyes like, "Yeah, you're invited, but do you really need to show up?" She told E! News. "He didn't make it to the party, but hey, at least he got the courtesy invite," she added with a smirk.